Soft guitar strings fade in, gentle porch wind sounds. You know, when I turned 70 last fall, something inside me just shifted. Didn't happen overnight. It was more like one of those slow motion changes you don't notice until one day you wake up, stretch, and the air feels different. Pause. I remember sitting on my porch that morning, same chair I've had since '89, staring at the horizon. The sun was climbing out of the mist, gold on blue, like it had done 1,000 times before. But for the first time in a long while, I actually saw it. And I thought, well, look at that, old man, you're still here. 70 years of mistakes, miracles, and coffee. Soft laugh. That's when this idea hit me. If you can still do 6 things at 70, you're winning at life. 6. Not fancy things, not expensive things, but the things that make your heart stay light. The first one, forgiveness. I learned about forgiveness the hard way. Pause. See, when you're young, you think holding a grudge makes you strong. You cross your arms, you say, hell with them, and you walk away. But every time you do, you carry a little bit of that anger with you, like a stone in your pocket. And by the time you're my age, the pocket's heavy as hell. My brother Jimmy and I, we stopped speaking in 1994 over money. Always money, right? We'd started a small auto repair shop together. Things got messy, papers got lost, pride got loud. One night, we both said words that had no business leaving our mouths. Next day, he packed his tools and left. And that was that. For years, I told everyone he'd done me wrong. Told myself I was fine without him. But truth is, every Christmas, every barbecue, every time someone said family, I felt that ache right behind the ribs. Fast forward 27 years. I'm walking out of the pharmacy, refilling my cholesterol meds, and there he is, Jimmy. Gray hair, same crooked smile, walking slower, but still that same look in his eyes. For a second, all those old memories crashed in. The fight, the silence, the birthdays missed. And then, I don't know, something softened. I looked at him and realized he's just an old man too. So I walked right up, tapped his shoulder, and said, "Hey, man, you still owe me a beer." He blinked, then laughed. That laugh cracked the ice that had been frozen for almost 3 decades. We went to the diner across the street, ordered black coffee and pie. Didn't talk business, didn't drag the past through the mud. We talked about Dad's old Chevy, about how Mom used to dance in the kitchen when Elvis came on. And right then I knew forgiveness ain't about fixing what broke. It's about letting go of what's weighing you down. Pause. You see, at 70, you start counting sunsets, not arguments. You start realizing there ain't enough time left to keep hate alive. Every minute spent angry is a minute you don't get back. That night, I slept like I hadn't in years. And the next morning, the air even smelled cleaner, or maybe it was just my heart finally breathing again. So here's what I tell anyone who'll listen. If you can still forgive, truly forgive, you're already freer than most folks ever get. Forgive the ones who left. Forgive the ones who hurt you. Forgive yourself for not knowing better. It don't mean you forget. It means you stop letting the pain drive the car, because let me tell ya, peace feels a whole lot lighter than pride. Pause, soft wind sound. You can have $1 million in the bank, a house on the lake, a car that drives itself, but if your heart's full of grudges, you're broke where it matters most. So yeah, if you can still look somebody in the eye after all these years and say, it's okay, you've already won a quiet kind of victory. And let me tell you, that kind of win, it lasts. Music fades down to gentle hum. Gentle piano comes in under the sound of porch wind chimes, you know? Folks talk about love like it's a firework, big, loud, bright, gone too fast. But at 70, you learn love's more like a campfire. It burns low, steady, keeps you warm if you tend it. And even when it looks like it has out, if you blow on those coals just right, it'll glow again. Pause. I didn't always understand that. Back when my wife Mary passed, I swore love was done with me. 46 years of laughing, fighting, raising kids. Then one night she's there in the hospital, squeezing my hand, whispering, "I'll see you later." And she was gone. I remember walking out of that hospital into the rain, not caring how soaked I got. Felt like the whole world went quiet, like somebody hit the mute button on life. Next few months, I just drifted. Coffee in the morning, TV I didn't watch, food I didn't taste, house was too quiet, bed was too big. Then one afternoon, I'm sitting out front trying to fix the porch light, and my neighbor June, widow herself, a couple years younger, walks over with a pie in her hands. Figured you probably eat like a college boy living alone, she says. I told her, college boys probably eat better. She laughed, loud, genuine, the kind of laugh that shakes the dust off a soul. That sound, I hadn't heard it in my house since Mary left. June didn't push, didn't preach, just started coming by with little things, leftover chili, old photo albums, bad jokes. Weeks turned into months, and one night we're sitting on that same porch, sun sliding down behind the trees, and she says, you know, you don't stop living when you lose someone. You stop living when you stop loving. Pause. Man, that hit deep. Love had felt like a wound, but right then I realized it can also be a doorway. Doesn't matter if it's romance, friendship, or the way you love a sunrise. Love's the proof there's still something inside you worth giving. So I started letting it back in small ways. I called my daughter just to hear her voice. Told my buddy Earl I missed fishing with him. Started smiling at strangers in the grocery line. Yeah, that weird old guy smiling at bananas? That was me. And little by little, the world started smiling back. Love don't always come wrapped in roses. Sometimes it's a grandkid drawing a crooked heart on a sticky note. Sometimes it's a neighbor knocking on your door with extra soup. Sometimes it's just waking up and deciding, I'm gonna care today. You keep that muscle moving even when it aches. 'Cause the minute you quit, that's when you start really getting old. Pause. One Sunday, I finally took June to church with me. First time I'd walked through those doors since Mary's funeral. People looked, whispered, smiled, you know how small towns are. But I didn't care. During the last hymn, I closed my eyes, felt June's hand slip into mine. And in that moment, I swear I could almost hear Mary laughing somewhere, saying, good for you, old fool. Love doesn't replace what you lose, it reminds you that you can still feel. It stretches your heart instead of shrinking it. It says, hey, we're not done here. If you can still look at somebody, anybody, and want good things for them, you're still alive. If you can still tear up at a song, still pray for someone else's happiness, still open your arms instead of crossing them, you're winning. And don't let anyone tell you you're too old for it. Love ain't got a retirement age. Pause. Now, me and June still sit on this porch most nights. We don't talk about the past much. We just listen to the crickets, sip our tea, and laugh about the silly things. Sometimes she reach over, pat my hand, and say, look at us, two old hearts still beating. And I just grin and say, guess we're still winning, huh? Because we are. Love keeps the lights on when everything else starts dimming. And if you can still love, really love, you've already got more life left in you than most 20-year-olds I know. Music fades into a soft guitar riff, then down to silence. Soft guitar strumming, light birdsong under the voice. You know what they don't tell you about getting older? You don't stop laughing because you grow old because you stop laughing. Pause. Now, that might sound like something from one of those cheesy greeting cards at the drugstore, but trust me, there's a whole sermon packed inside that little line. I learned that lesson the hard way. After Mary passed and the kids moved away, I turned into one serious old grouch. I'd wake up mad at the weather, mad at the news, mad at the neighbor's dog for breathing too loud. Everything annoyed me. Even the sound of the mailman whistling made me want to throw my slipper. One afternoon, I'm sitting out on the porch, again, grumbling about how the world's gone to hell, when my grandson, Jack, comes running up the driveway with a Nerf gun. Grandpa, you're my target. He yells. Before I can even stand up, he fires that foam dart, hits me square in the forehead. He starts laughing so hard he falls over. And you know what? For the first time in months, I laughed too. Real laugh, the kind that sneaks out before your brain can stop it. Felt like opening a window in a stuffy room. Pause. That one silly moment broke something in me. Not in a bad way, more like cracking open a shell. I realized how heavy I'd gotten, carrying all that sadness around like it was a badge of honor. But laughing? That's what lets the light in. So I started practicing again? Yeah, I said practicing. Sometimes you gotta relearn how to laugh. I'd turn on those old sitcoms, Cheers, The Golden Girls, Andy Griffith, stuff that didn't try too hard to be funny, just honest. And I'd sit there chuckling with my coffee, feeling my chest loosen up a little more each day. Then one morning, I'm in the grocery store. The young cashier, can't be older than 20, looks at me and says, "Sir, do you qualify for the senior discount?" I grin and say, "Honey, at this point I qualify for the resurrection discount." She laughed so hard she had to lean on the counter, and I walked out of there feeling 10 pounds lighter. Pause. Laughter's got this crazy magic to it. It resets your whole system. Your shoulders drop, your heart opens, your eyes see brighter. It don't fix the past, but it sure as hell makes the present easier to stand. I remember one night I was sitting with June watching one of those silly game shows. They asked, "Name something you do before bed." One guy buzzes in and yells, "Pray." The next guy panics and yells, "Pee." June snorted so loud, she scared her cat off the couch. And we both just lost it, tears running down our faces, laughing till our stomachs hurt. In that moment, I swear I felt 25 again. Not because the wrinkles disappeared or the arthritis took a day off, but because laughing made time disappear. Pause. That's the thing about getting older. Pain comes easy, knees, back, heart, memories. But laughter, you gotta choose it. You gotta dig for it some days. Like when you drop your toast butter side down, or your phone rings, and it's a scammer asking for your car warranty. You can either cuss them out, or laugh and hang up. Guess which one keeps your blood pressure lower. You see, laughter don't mean you're ignoring life's problems. It just means you refuse to let them win. It's saying, yeah, I see you, pain, but I'm still here, smiling. And maybe that's what God meant when he gave us humor. Not just to make noise, but to make space. Space between us and the hurt, so we can breathe again. Pause. Every time I hear Jack's laugh now, deep belly laugh, no shame in it, I think that's what keeping the fire looks like. You keep that spark alive in your heart, and you'll never truly be old. I've met 90-year-olds with more laughter in them than kids scrolling TikTok all day. They tell jokes, tease the nurses, wink at the world like they've got a secret, and maybe they do. Maybe they figured out the secret is, when you can still laugh, you're still winning. So now, every night before bed, I tell myself one rule. Find one thing that makes you laugh tomorrow. Could be a funny video, could be a memory, could be your own clumsy self-spilling coffee. Just find it. Because if you can still laugh, you've still got fire left. And baby, that fire, that's what keeps your soul warm when the world gets cold. Soft guitar fades, sound of distant laughter echoing under. Soft piano and light morning sounds, birds, a kettle whistle in the background. You know, people always assume that when you hit 70, your learning days are behind you. Like the world expects you to just sit down, watch your shows, and wait your turn. But let me tell you something. The day you stop learning is the day your soul starts shrinking. Pause. No, I wasn't much for school back in the day. Barely made it through high school before heading off to work in the mill. I thought education meant books and chalkboards and sitting still for hours, and buddy, I wanted no part of that. But somewhere along the way, I realized learning ain't just about classrooms. It's about staying curious. It's about asking questions like a kid, even when you've got grandkids of your own. Pause. After Mary passed, there was this long stretch where my world felt so small. Same porch, same road, same routine. And one day, I looked in the mirror and said, man, you've got to give your brain something new to chew on, or it is gone na rot. So I signed up for one of those free community classes at the library. It was called Photography for Beginners. Now, I didn't even own a camera, just my old flip phone. But the lady running it said, bring what you got. So there I was, 70 years old, sitting in a room full of 20-somethings talking about shutter speed and composition. I felt like a dinosaur at a rocket launch. But you know what? By the end of that first class, I was hooked. It wasn't about taking perfect pictures. It was about seeing again. Seeing the way sunlight hit a leaf, the way a puddle caught the sky, the way June's wrinkles curved when she smiled. Learning taught me to notice life again. Pause. I started bringing my little camera everywhere. To the park, the diner, even to Sunday service. Folks started laughing, calling me Paparazzi Pete, but every photo I took felt like proof. Proof that I was still here, still curious, still awake. And that's the thing about learning. It don't just fill your mind, it fills your spirit. Every time you try something new, you remind your soul that you ain't done yet. I saw this one quote once, can't remember who said it, but it stuck with me. Old age is not a time to coast, it's a time to cultivate. Man, ain't that the truth? You don't coast down the last stretch of your life, you dig in. You grow new roots where the ground still feels good. Pause. One time, my granddaughter came over, she's 16, smart as a whip, and she says, "Grandpa, I want to teach you how to use TikTok." Now, at first I laughed. I said, "Sweetheart, I still struggle with the remote control." But she said, "It's easy. You just talk to the camera, tell stories, people love that." So I gave it a shot. She filmed me sitting right here on this porch, telling a story about the first time I drove a truck with no brakes. We posted it, and next morning she runs over yelling, "Grandpa, you got 100,000 views." Pause. And you know what? That wasn't about fame. That was about connection. I'd learned something brand new, and through that, found a bridge to another generation. That's the real beauty of learning. It keeps the world big. Because once you stop learning, the world shrinks down to the size of your living room. But when you keep learning, even just a little, the world stays wide and wild and full of surprise. Pause. Now, I ain't to saying you got to go learn computer code or fly a drone unless you want to, but maybe pick up a paintbrush. Try a recipe you've never made. Read that book that's been sitting on your shelf since the Reagan years. Ask your grandkid to show you their favorite app. You'd be amazed what you still got room for in your head and your heart. One thing I've learned about growing old, you don't lose your curiosity, you just stop feeding it. But once you start again, it wakes up like a bear after winter, hungry for everything. Pause. I remember one evening, sitting with June after dinner, and she looks at me and says, "You know, I think God keeps teaching us right up till our last breath." And I smiled, 'cause that made sense. Every sunrise, every challenge, every new person we meet, it's all another lesson. We're just students in the world's oldest classroom. So now, every day, I ask myself, what am I learning today? Some days it's patience. Some days it's forgiveness. Some days it's just how to make my phone stop beeping at me, but I'm learning all the same. Pause, soft chuckle. And I'll tell you what, that's what keeps me alive. Not the medicine, not the vitamins, the curiosity, the hunger to know, to grow, to still be part of this big wild mystery called life. Because if you can still learn, you're still growing. And if you're still growing, well, friend, you're still winning. Music swells gently, fades into night sounds.